our guys for the way that they fought in there. You know, guys staying in there and some names you hadn't heard before, having to go in there where guys were going down and playing a ton of snaps. And the line of scrimmage, I thought we did pretty well. You know, I think we would have probably felt like we would have won the game if I would have told you we averaged more per carry than they did. You know, probably the best rushing team in the country. So, unfortunately, we're on the wrong end of it, and you know, it's a great rivalry. You know, we've had 2 great games with them that we just haven't been able to finish off. As far as the end of the regulation, really disappointed in the officials. Extremely disappointed. It was communicated to them. They communicated to me exactly the situation. Called a timeout. There's 1 second left on the clock. They said he was out of bounds, which he wasn't out of bounds. So I told him when the replay comes back, you're going to say his knee's down. The side judge right there says you called the timeout. You're going to get to kick the 50-yard field goal to win the game. He goes over and tells him while they're in the booth, comes back and says, hey, coach, I told him if they rule that there's 1 second, you'll get your timeout. The ball will be down there for you to kick it. And they came back over and completely went against it. So extremely disappointed in that. That's not an opinion. I'm not complaining about it. I'm just giving you the exact facts of the situation. Really disappointed in that.
Did the head official then explain why he didn't give you the timeout? Because
he said that if there was 1 second, you wouldn't have had enough time to call a timeout. Well, I've been around football a long time. You call timeouts in 1 second all the time. What you do, you call a timeout, the guy's knee hits the ground, and you get the play run.
But before that, he said if there's a second left,
yeah, he told me exactly that, because I explained the situation. I said, you're going to review this. They're going to come back down and say, y'all screwed it up. He wasn't out of bounds. His knee was down. Then they're going to say there's 1 second on the clock. You got to tell him that we called the timeout here. And he said, I'll go tell him. And he came back. He said he understands. He's got it. If his knee was down in bounds with a second, you're going to get to kick it. So I ran our field goal team out there.
Can you talk about where your team is at right now? The result notwithstanding, you still feel like, I mean, it seemed like you talked about last week that the cloud was kind of lifting. It seemed like that was the feeling for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, you know, obviously I wish we would have won it. Obviously wish we would have won the game. But, you know, if you're going to play a team that's got the longest winning streak in the country and has beat everybody all year by over 25 points, you know, and you go down to a game that obviously go either way, ball bouncing different. You know, that was an extremely competitive game by 2 teams playing really hard. Obviously we want to win, but as far as effort and where your team's at, you've got to be pleased. And I thought our crowd was awesome. Our crowd was electric. They really helped us out, and it was great to have that back. You know, I think that's been gone for a while. That feeling that there was tonight. Unfortunately, we didn't finish for them.
Sorry, Coach, what did you tell your guys in the locker room just now?
Just stay together. You know, don't hang your head. Obviously, we wish the outcome was different. You know, do a great job in the media. Go back to work with a short week and get ready to go play a road game.
Coach, the pick six, unusual circumstances, especially who threw it. Did you feel like, all right, there's no way we're going to give this up now?
Yeah, really, we had talked all week. You know, about Stanford had not had to go into a fourth quarter, really. They hadn't trailed all year, I don't think, for a second. And so, you know, we wanted to take them into the fourth quarter, have it close, take the lead, you know, in the second half like we did, and then see what happens. You know, see what happens when you're put in that situation that you haven't been before. We've had to be in those situations, so that's why it's good to have competitive games sometimes. And Nikel came up with a big play and looked like it was going to swing. We're going to win the game there.
Was there a time, or if so, how many times that you thought you had sealed up?
I wouldn't say sealed up. I mean, I felt good about the game a number of times. I can't even remember how many. The game seemed like it lasted forever. And there were so many times that you felt like we were going to win the game. You know, obviously the penalty, the targeting penalty really was a swing there, you know, where you thought that we were going to win it there. So, but like I said, I'm proud of how our guys kept fighting regardless of what the circumstances were.
Considering how he played, how tough was it to see the game end that way for Curtis?
Yeah, really for a bunch of guys, but Curtis especially, you know, how well he, as you mentioned, how well he had played, and he's banged up in there. Mark went out the first series, I think his first carry, so he was out for the game. You know, so it was good to see the way Curtis played throughout the game, and unfortunately, obviously, it didn't end very well there. Yeah, I thought the defensive line did do some good things, especially, you know, early on. You know, wore down a little bit there late, you know, but they really got after him, and versus a great offensive line.
You said this week that Andrew Luck was pretty much perfect. Did he play like you thought he was going to?
Yeah, he did, outside of one throw. I thought he played really good. You know, the stats aren't going to show some of the plays that he makes that, you know, I talked about all week. The thing that makes him different than just the normal, really special pocket passer is he makes so many plays with his feet. There's so many times third down plays he makes, or there's a guy there, not just as he's scrambling to make percent, he makes a guy miss. Some good players, some good tacklers. So, you know, that's why he's going on to be the first pick of the draft.
Where did Matt measure up with him today?
I thought they were about equal. You know, outside, and that's really what I've said really in general about the two. Whenever people say, what's the difference? I said, really the only difference to me is really the feet. You know, Andrew's just faster, you know. I thought they basically played about the same.
Coach, how much do you think was the wear down factor on the D, especially in the last quarter or so, as opposed to what they did?
Well, I don't know. You know, we did lose Wes there. He was out, and so, you know, it kind of messed up our rotation at defensive end. And so, but we were throwing guys in there. You know, Junior Devine made a couple plays today. You know, another kid you probably haven't heard of, a true freshman. So, once again, it's a young team, a bunch of guys making plays. And those are a bunch of young kids making plays. You know, obviously Marquise making plays again out there, and Kel Roby. You know, a bunch of first and second year guys.
Was Mark the shoulder he had injured previously, and what was Wes's?
I don't know what Wes's was. He didn't return, and Mark's was the same shoulder.
Are there any other serious injuries you know?
No.
What was the thinking with the pass again, instead of, you know, maybe running it or centering it or, you know, anything?
Pass at the end of the game.
At the end of regulation.
Oh, end of regulation. It's a screen play that usually doesn't break all the way back over there. We were just too far for a field goal where we were at. I think it was 57 or something like that. So we had to get some yards. I think we were in the 40. So we wanted to get 8-10 yards, you know, to make it a manageable field goal. And unfortunately, it didn't work out. Thank you.